All right, let's dive into something super practical today. What to do when your credit report, your financial story, gets it wrong. Let's get right into it. Just think about this for a second. Your credit report, it's basically your financial resume. But what happens when that resume has a typo, or worse, a total lie? What if your financial story is being told incorrectly? And look, this isn't just some small, annoying thing. A single mistake can have massive real-world consequences. We are talking about getting turned down for a car loan, paying literally thousands more on your mortgage, or even losing out on that new apartment or a dream job. The stakes are incredibly high. Okay, so you've pulled your report and, yep, there it is. Something that just doesn't look right. First thing, don't panic. Seriously, this is actually the first step to taking back control. Let's walk through exactly where to start. Now, here's the most important thing you need to know right off the bat. You have a legal right to an accurate credit report. That's thanks to a law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act. This is not a favor they're doing for you, it's the law. So let's make sure they're following it. These errors can pop up in all sorts of ways. Sometimes it's a simple identity mix-up, like information that belongs to someone else with a similar name ends up on your report. Or maybe you paid off a credit card ages ago, but it's still showing up as delinquent. You might even see plain old data errors, like the wrong balance or debts that are so old they should have disappeared by now. And a really frustrating one, seeing the same debt listed twice. Your first job is to figure out exactly what kind of error you're dealing with. All right, once you've zeroed in on the error, your next move is to get your ducks in a row. I want you to think of yourself as a detective, okay? You're building an airtight case, and here's what you're going to need. This is your dispute toolkit. First up, get your reports. You'll want free copies from all three of the big bureaus. That's Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Second, pinpoint that error. Get really specific about what's wrong. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, gather your proof. We're talking bank statements, canceled checks, letters from lenders, anything that proves your side of the story. And finally, you're going to write it all down in a clear, simple dispute letter. Okay, you're going to hear this term, information furnisher. And it sounds kind of formal, but it's really simple. It's just the company that reported the data in the first place. So your bank, your credit card company, a debt collector, that's the furnisher. Knowing who this is key, because you're going to be talking to them too. All right, you've got your evidence stacked up. You know who the players are. Now it's time to actually do this thing. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how you file that dispute. Now, this is where the strategy really kicks in. You're not just going after one target. You're going to launch a two-pronged attack. You'll contact the credit bureau that has the error on its report, and you're also going to contact the information furnisher, the company that sent them the bad info. You send a dispute letter with copies of your proof to both of them. Why? Because it forces an investigation from both ends. And believe me, that seriously boosts your chances of getting this fixed. And here is a pro tip, an absolute golden rule. Do not just drop these letters in a mailbox and hope for the best. Send them by certified mail with a return receipt requested. Yeah, it costs a few extra bucks, but what you get is a legal paper trail. It proves exactly when you sent the letters and when they were received. Think of it as your insurance policy. Okay, so you sent your letters out. Now the clock starts ticking. This next part is the investigation, and it usually takes about 30 days. So let's break down exactly what's happening while you wait. This timeline really helps make sense of the waiting game. The second your dispute is received, that clock starts. The credit bureau has to pass your info along to the furnisher. Then, that furnisher has about 30 days to investigate and report its findings back. The whole investigation has to be wrapped up within that deadline. And then, you have to get the written results in your hands within 5 days after it's all done. See, it's a regulated process with some pretty firm deadlines. Okay, so the 30 days are up, and you've got a letter in the mail with the decision. What now? Let's walk through the two possible outcomes and what your next move should be. So it really comes down to one of two paths. Outcome A, the one we're hoping for. They agree with you. The error gets corrected or maybe even deleted, and you get a fresh, updated report. That's a win. But there's also outcome B. The furnisher digs in their heels, insists the info is correct, and that negative item stays right where it is. It's so important to be ready for either one of these. If your dispute is successful, which is awesome, your job isn't quite done. Don't pop the champagne just yet. First, make sure you get written confirmation of the change. Second, get that free updated credit report and double-check that the fix is actually there. Third, You can ask the Bureau to send out correction notices to anyone who pulled your report recently, like a potential employer or landlord. And finally, and this is a big one, check your other 2 credit reports to make sure that error has been wiped from all of them. Now, what if they say no? What if your dispute is rejected? Don't despair. You still have moves to make. First, you have the legal right to add a short 100-word statement to your file. This is your chance to tell your side of the story, and it'll be attached to your report for anyone to see. And if you really feel the investigation wasn't done right, you can take it to the next level and file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB. At the end of the day, just remember, your credit report is so much more than a number. It's the story of your financial life. And taking the time to make sure that story is accurate, well, that's not just some boring financial chore. It's a really powerful act of financial self-care. It can save you a ton of money and open up all kinds of doors for you down the road. So, fixing an error is really all about taking back control of your own story. You've just learned exactly how to correct the past. So the only question left is, how are you going to write that next chapter?